do it? Is it going? I think it's going. Yeah, this is right. This seems right.
Are we in? Are we on?
We're on.
Hooray!
What's connecting us?
Oh no, Dylan.
No, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Why is your force connecting us? Can you see your surroundings? I can't see a thing. Here, hold out your hand and touch the ring. I'm gonna see if it transfers to mine. Oh man, Uncle Luke blocked us again. Hello there, all you bucketheads, and welcome to any new Praetorian Guards. This is an episode of the most disorganized podcast on the internet. Welcome to Under the Helmet Podcast. While you're here, do not forget, like the video, leave a comment, share with your friends, join our Discord, and of course, subscribe to Under the Helmet Podcast so we can talk about more movies that absolutely ruin your childhood. So, Last Jedi.
Oh my goodness. I'm back, by the way, in case anyone was interested. I will be here for the next episode as well to talk about The Rise of Skywalker, but we are here today to talk about The Last Jedi. The arguably the most controversial of all of the Star Wars films. I'm going to say it.
I would agree with you there. It's proved to be very divisive within the fandom.
Very, very divisive.
It's the most controversial Star Wars movie since the last one.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, each of the movies was very controversial for a while, and then people just got really chill with it. It kind of goes like, movie comes out, new movies come out, people dislike them, then eventually the generation that grew up with them gets old enough to start defending them, then you get the army of prequel fans. Now you give it a couple years and we're going to have like armies of sequel fans coming up out of the woodwork. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see edits on whatever becomes the new version of TikTok about how Full Potential Rey absolutely solos the entirety of the Omniverse. And I'm here for it. Because I am so tired of seeing Full Potential Anakin edits because it's literally fan fiction. Like, Full Potential Anakin can do fucking anything. Can Full Potential Anakin do my taxes? Probably. He's got full potential. He never lost his hand. He never lost his manhood. He never lost his other limbs. So he's full potential. He can do anything.
Oh, I always forget that his dingus burnt off in Mustafar.
Yes.
It was like one of the first things to go.
Proximity-wise, yeah. But before we get to the last Jedi, I want to ask you guys a quick question. So tomorrow, Andor drops. We have 3 episodes of Andor dropping tomorrow. Thoughts, opinions, excited, blown away?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow? 3. I'm sorry, I knew it was tomorrow. I completely forgot it was 3 episodes. What?
Yes. So I saw the runtime. So the first one is, I think they're 37, 38, and 41 minutes respectively.
It keeps going up. I like that.
Yes, and then I think episode 4 is like 42, 43, if I remember correctly.
Damn.
I saw an Instagram post and I didn't save it. So, thoughts going into Andor. What are we thinking? What are we gonna see? I'm very excited for Saw Gerrera to come back. He's one of my favorite side characters.
He will show up in everything until the day that Forrest Whitaker dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
even when Forrest Whitaker passes away, we'll get the guy who does his voice acting. They'll just keep going. Saw Gerrera will never stop showing up in things.
I will be the first person to admit that I was not the biggest fan of Rogue One. It is not like in my top 3 or top 5 of Star Wars films. But I've been waiting for something like Andor because Book of Boba Fett was brilliant, quite silly. Mandalorian, kind of serious, quite silly. I've been looking forward to Andor being this like hard sci-fi, hard Star Wars, gritty. The trailer makes it look so good, and I am super envious of all of the people who got invited to the UK premiere. You jammy sods.
I'm
just excited for it because I've heard people say that it's going to be different, and that a lot of people are comparing it to season 1 of The Mandalorian, which I really like. Because season 1 of The Mandalorian, when it came out, everybody was like, oh, it's so different and it's so groundbreaking. And that's something that I'm really excited for, is to see something that's in this universe, but different. It's separated. There's probably not going to be any Jedi or Force users in it. It's going to be very detached from that. And I'm a Jedi guy, so I'm a little
believe
upset.
Me, we know.
I'm not going to see any vroom vroom laser swords. But I will watch it. I'm gonna give it as the same chance that I gave every other show, and I'm probably gonna love it because honestly, Star Wars could spit in my mouth and I would tell them thank you, and ask for seconds.
Filth, utter filth, and we are 7 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen, and others.
We haven't even gotten to The Last Jedi yet, and
we haven't even gotten to the lift scene. We haven't even gotten to the. Please.
I will say I do have Cassian's jacket from Rogue One. Yeah, the brown one. Oh, it's so nice. I will say this. That jacket has seen a lot. Like, that thing was my go-to, like, heading out the door on some sort of nonsense jacket for a good 2 to 3 years. It's seen. Oh, the jacket. Okay, I will get the jacket, and also be careful.
Drop the Andor jacket. Drop the Andor jacket.
I'm not dropping it, but I will show it. It's a nice jacket. So it's the coolest part is on the inside. There is this whole mural that's got like U-wings, X-wings. It's a nice jacket. Big old rebellion symbol. Let's see. You have the Rogue One patch on it.
That is gorgeous.
It's got these delightful. I love this detail on any piece of Star Wars outfit. The little ruffle. Yes. That these are like meant to hold bullets. There aren't bullets in Star Wars. I don't know why they're there, but okay.
We'll see. They are introducing the space AKs in Andor, so we will see. I saw that. I'm very excited.
It's this jacket. I mean, shoot, anyone who saw me within the past like 5 years has seen me in this jacket at least once. Like, it was kind of my go-to for a while. Gabby recently made me a custom Ghostbusters jacket, so that has kind of replaced it, at least for, I'll say, cooler weather. When it starts to cool down even more, I'll probably grab this one. And then go to, like, I have a nice leather jacket that my dad gave me. It's a nice jacket, but oh my god, it has seen 2 generations of my family. That does things to a piece of furniture or clothing.
Weird. I have multiple leather jackets as well, so that's like when it gets below, I think 50 degrees Fahrenheit here. I don't know what that is in non-American, but when it gets below 50, I bust out the leather jacket immediately, and I don't take it off until it gets hot again.
I have a nice pea coat that I wear. I don't know why this went to, just what's in your closet, Eli? There's a great many things in my closet.
I'm enjoying this little fashion tour, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah. Oh, you want to see a fashion tour? Wait till Guess to Know. Guess to Know is a freaking fashion tour.
That's gonna be
Oh, there's weird stuff on Guess to Know. There's weird stuff on Guess to Know. Here, let me just bring out the first.
Dylan, what have we got him started on?
I don't know. This is Eli's New York Fashion Week, and we're just living in it.
This
Eli's world, and we're living in it.
Not that jacket.
Oh yes, this jacket.
No, please not that jacket.
No, yeah, this was the first Guess to Know coat. It's awful.
Eli, that is singularly the most hideous thing I have ever seen.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
That is absolutely
Thank you.
horrible.
No, it's rather awful.
I'm not gonna say a word because I wear Hawaiian shirts, unironically. So.
Oh please.
That's fine. Hawaiian shirts are acceptable.
Hawaiian shirts are acceptable as well as kind of a staple of bi fashion. So
yeah,
they're just versatile.
Interesting.
I tell you what's soon to be a staple of fashion everywhere, I hope, is bringing capes back. Oh.
Okay, let's. I'm gonna use that to segue into Last Jedi because this movie, the costuming department went hard.
Yes.
So first up, it's not even like a physical costume, but I want to talk about Snoke's Playboy Mansion robes because that man is styling on all of us. Man is wearing slippers.
If
He's really
anybody
out
was
here.
not aware, the character and mannerisms of Snoke were inspired by the one, the only Hugh Hefner. That is a genuine, from the mouth of Andy Serkis fact.
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised.
So we got Space Hefner is big bad.
I have to say too, because I rewatch the movie. I try to rewatch the movies before we do an episode on them, just so it's like fresh in my mind. And like the scenes in the throne room where he's like whipping the lightsaber around with just like the slightest like flick of his hands, like I can see it.
It's the way the material on the robe moves when he walks, like the animation department. So they actually made like a Snoke kind of bodysuit for Andy Serkis to wear so he could physically be on set, and then that footage was taken to the animators and then CG'd over the top. So all of the walking and the standing and the sitting you see is actually Andy Serkis in this big Snoke
suit.
That is amazing.
I watched the film with the director's commentary, so I'm full of like facts.
Heck yeah. I didn't watch the film.
Okay, so when we talk about the director's commentary and the deleted scenes, I really want to bring up there is only one thing about this movie after watching it today that I would change, and it's a deleted scene that I would just leave in the movie. And that is Luke grieving over Han Solo.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
Actually, I lied. There's another one. There's another deleted scene I do too.
Just keep talking.
Listen, okay, I have a thing about deleted scenes, and like I don't know what it is about like Marvel and Star Wars, but like they delete some of the most character building scenes. It's
because people will complain that it slows down the movie, like they do anytime an episode of The Mandalorian doesn't directly push the advance the plot button.
I know that, but also I'm such a fan of the characters, I don't care that it does that. And in my mind, they happen. Like, in my mind, all the deleted scenes are canon. They don't directly conflict with anything that I know of. No. So if there's a deleted scene that doesn't directly conflict with the movie, Anakin killing Shaak Ti in Revenge of the Sith, and
I was going to say, how many times has Shaak Ti canonically died to you then?
75.
That's quite low.
If we're talking like pacing, My only real issue, the thing that I would change about The Last Jedi, all of it is stunning. I just wish Canto Bight, like the whole sequence of Canto Bight, was just a little bit shorter. So much of that could have been cut, and it could have been shortened and sped up. Because I'm more interested in Rey, Kylo, Luke. Like, I want all of that.
Me too. I will fully admit.
I don't want to see like Ryan Johnson squeeze in 100 of his weird little monsters that he's created because he's really passionate about them. That's fine. I don't care.
I have to say though, rewatching this movie is super interesting because when I first left the theater, I was very mixed bag about it. I liked it. I was confused. I wanted to know more. And then I sort of fell down the pipeline of The Last Jedi is terrible. And people doing the 5+ hour multi-YouTube video sagas of like completely dissecting the movie by frame by frame by frame. Like, listen, if you're going to watch the movie like that, you're going to find something wrong in literally everything.
Oh, 100%.
It's like the people who watch, new Marvel shows and go frame by frame to break down the VFX. Like, the people are tired.
Yeah. It's really not that deep.
I love The Last Jedi. I went to see it at the cinema. I went to see it on release day, like midnight showing, whatever. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was a brilliant continuation from The Force Awakens. And I was so shocked when online people were like, I hate this. This is horrible. This is the worst Star Wars anyone has ever made.
Yeah. So fun fact, I actually, because my mom was a teacher for 15 years. At the time, Scholastic was doing a little treat for their school. I did get to see it a night early at midnight. I got to see it that as well as Rogue One was actually the first one that I saw like that. I had the option to see Rise of Skywalker like that, but I already had opening night, midnight, back row 3D tickets for it.
Respect.
Center. When I heard that they were dropping, I was just sitting there just mashing the fucking button on my computer because I was helping a buddy of mine get his Mandalorian outfit together, and I'm going to be completely honest, it was god awful. I did not know what I was doing cosplaying wise at that time. I was working with 10mm EVA foam for something that I definitely needed 4mm for, or 6, because it was way too thick and did not get any bend to it. I didn't try heat forming it at all. Oh, it was a mess. It was such a mess. But he got kind of stuck moving like C-3PO in that he couldn't put his arms down.
Oh, gosh.
Whereas I was in my Jedi robes. So I was just like, my cloak flows.
I'm comfy. You're not. All right. Yeah. So I also want to talk about, so it's like when I went and saw this movie, I went with my family. We went opening night. Like, we scored tickets day of, which we were very surprised about. But actually, no, we did not. We scored Rise of Skywalker tickets day of. This one, we scored tickets like a week in advance. And literally all week, I did.
Oh, he's doing the thing. He freezes for a second.
I remember being so... Every day I would go to school and I would come home and I'd be like, I'm watching The Last Jedi on Friday. And I know somebody who went and saw it, like, midnight premiere. I saw it the opening day. Someone went midnight premiere and they're like, oh my God, it's so good. I'm like, don't say a thing. Like, don't say a word to me. I'm going to leave now. Like, I remember back when I went on Facebook, I actually posted on Facebook, I'm going dark for The Last Jedi. A relic of an older time, but
Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I don't go on there much anymore.
I was going to say, I can't say much. I was on Facebook quite a bit for a while. And then I found Instagram and I was like, all right.
Oh, look, there's people on Instagram.
I was like, dang, this platform kind of hates its users, but I'm vibing with it. Let's go.
True.
All
right, so I think we need to move into one of the big controversies with this movie is Admiral Holdo and her plan. because you can tell from the beginning she had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't just going about it blindly. She didn't go around telling Poe. And if you look at it from the perspective of military chain of command, you don't have to know what your superior's objective is. She told him to go to his post and stand by, and he chose not to. And that was the lesson that Poe had to learn. Every character in this movie learns a lesson of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. I really like that every character in this movie learns something, whether it be about themselves or about leadership. I really enjoy that aspect of this movie. And I think that's something that people don't talk about a lot.
Ryan specifically describes Poe's journey as being from a hero to a leader, which I think is a really beautiful way of describing it. That transition, it suddenly makes that transition and his kind of obstinance and his stubbornness make sense. He doesn't want to be a leader. He's been thrust into the position of being a leader. He's only just come to terms with being a hero and the responsibility that entails. So, of course, he needs to know everything that's happening immediately right now and has no concept for hierarchy because there is no hierarchy for him.
You know, saying that makes me think of the line that Leia says at the beginning. So it's a very quick and you miss it line. I actually had to rewind to hear it. But right after the bomber attack where they destroyed the Dreadnought, which beautiful ship design. The Dreadnought is amazing. But there's a line that Leia says where Poe says to her, there were heroes in that battle. And Leia looks at him and responds with, but there were no leaders. I had to re-listen to that because I was like, did she just say what I think she said? And I went back and rewatched it and went, that is interesting. So that perfectly encapsulates what you were just saying. How like it all.
Absolutely.
Ryan's a genius filmmaker. He does not put things to waste.
Mm-hmm.
No. He's a little kooky, maybe, a little outside of the box in places. And I understand that his humor maybe isn't to everybody's taste because he immediately, within the first 2 seconds of the director's cut, he's like, I wanted this film to be funny. Okay, King.
Listen,
I didn't find it that funny, but
I will say when Poe Dameron, rolls up one man against giant city-sized ship and is just, hitting him with the freaking. Oh wait, I'm going to sneeze.
Oh God!
I'm on the cape. Okay, we're good.
Not on the cape.
You think I'm gonna sneeze on this? Do you
No.
have cape for this? Absolutely.
No, I think it's great. I just love that you said out loud, no to the cape.
Anyway, Poe Dameron's essentially, Papa John's phone call and your mom joke to General Hux.
It's funny. There were multiple times in this movie where I actively laughed out loud.
Oh.
Where I just thought this is a movie that, while very serious and very insightful, is not afraid to have those moments of levity to break up because it's a heavy plot. I mean, everything in this movie is super heavy. So to have that little bit of levity to break things up is actually really nice.
One moment.
Sorry, everyone. There is I'm usually not that scared of spiders. There is a spider that is about this big on the wall next to me. I just need to get rid of it. I'll be 2 seconds.
You're all good. Take care of it.
Listen, grab the Infinity Gauntlet behind you and simply yeet it from existence.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've needed to grab some sort of Nerf weapon and go bonk a spider that is somewhere in the room or house.
I remember there was one day I was twirling one of my sabers and there was a fly flying around. and I just like perfectly like sliced it right out of the air.
Ooh.
And I was like, I've peaked in my skills as a Jedi. I'll never be able to do that again.
I won to the
Another
force.
thing in this movie, I think one thing about this movie, though, to kind of steer back on topic, is the transitions between scenes in
You
this
guys want to
movie.
see the spider?
Did you get him?
Ooh. Oh, that's a big fella. Oh, he does not want to be in there.
Hello there.
No, he does not.
Get
Yeah,
out of my house.
Oh, not the spider, not the spider.
Nick, this is humongous.
I'm just saying, if Charlie gets bit and gets spider powers, I'm gonna be very upset.
I was gonna say you see that's the problem with spider powers is that every time that you get super cool spider powers, somebody bites it in your life. Uncle Ben, Jefferson Davis, Peter Parker for Gwen. Gwen's universe is dark. Like Gabby and I were talking the other day, and I was like, "Oh, if I don't get spider powers, maybe you will." She was like, "No, that's a bad idea." And then she proceeded to list off everything that happens to me in Spider-Gwen's universe. Peter uses the lizard formula on himself because he wants to be like Gwen and help people. It kills him. Let's see.
No, it doesn't kill him. He turns into a lizard monster. Gwen has to kill him.
Fair point. Wait, Gwen has to kill him?
Yeah, she fights him and kills him.
Oh!
And then his best friend is like, "You killed Peter, I'm going to kill you." And the cops want her because she's a wanted fugitive for killing Peter. Because by the time the cops showed up, she's just holding his dead body and he's not a lizard monster anymore.
Ah.
So then she's wanted by the cops, Peter's best friend, and like literally everyone in the town hates her, including the Parkers, because they know that Gwen killed their kid, and they were neighbors. They were neighbors. Yeah, it's a terrible time for that universe, so not that one, please. Let's not do that.
All right. Well, one of the things that The Last Jedi does really well is the transitions between scenes. Like, because this movie is juggling 3 different plots, and the way it transitions between scenes is really good, I have to say.
I think
Where, like,
oh, so sorry.
Go ahead.
As much as The Force Awakens captures that kind of nostalgic magic of A New Hope, I would argue that The Last Jedi is a little truer to the pacing of Star Wars, particularly Empire Strikes Back. Like, there's a lot of fast-paced cutting between storylines, and he uses the swipe transitions beautifully. Like, there's not too many of them. There's just enough of them, just in the right places. And I think it's a really it's a very unique homage to George Lucas, rather than being a predictable one. Not that JJ is particularly predictable, but you know.
No, I get you. Speaking of transitions, this movie jumps straight from where Force Awakens ends right into, like, I was not expecting that when I first went in.
I would just like to point out, so the weather conditions on Skellig Michael at the end of Force Awakens are relatively grey and gloomy, standard British weather. If you notice that the start of The Last Jedi, the weather is completely changed.
Yeah,
it's blue skies, sunshine, no rain. It's the one bit of continuity that they couldn't account for, and it just tickles me a little bit.
You know what? Now that you say that, all of the good things I were going to say about this movie, they're gone now. This movie is terrible. It's horrible.
Have I broken it for everyone? Sorry.
Yeah. Broke my heart, kicked my dog down the street, shot my Uncle Ben in a dark alleyway with my parents. I mean...
Turned my buddy Peter into a giant lizard monster.
Yeah. Turned me into a dinosaur lizard monster. And broke me at a Jurassic Park. This movie just... Can I go any further? Can I go any deeper down a rabbit hole?
Damn.
Oh,
although, how much did people love Luke Skywalker just chucking the lightsaber? I'm sorry, it was the most unexpected left field response, and
I gasped.
Same.
Everybody in the theater was like,
it was kind of like getting hit by a bus.
Yes.
Yes,
and it's not the only time the movie does that either. It's the same with the Admiral Holdo maneuver, where instead of music or crescendo, dead silence. I felt like my heart stopped. There are some moments of cinematic excellence in this film, and I feel like it is not appreciated enough by the wider fandom. It really isn't.
Absolutely. And then watching it today,
dead silence,
seeing those scenes again, even though they were in my apartment and I was sitting on the couch with a giant blanket on. I mean, you can see it back there. I mean, I just threw it right on the bed. But it was very much that sort of like, especially the Holdo maneuver scene, just absolutely took my breath away. Where I was like, whoa. Damn. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then you get scenes like on Octo, like Octo is just a beautiful planet to begin with. Yeah. It's just absolutely gorgeous and stunning. And I mean, Porgs, where can you go wrong?
Shout out to the side quests on there in Skywalker Saga. That shit was good.
Amazing. Brilliant level. 10. And to be honest, the whole Last Jedi chapter of the Skywalker Saga is brilliant gameplay. Highly recommend.
The only criticism I have with the Last Jedi chapter is, goddamn, the Praetorians just kind of kept coming, and there were so many of them. And
but I loved it.
It was so good, though. It was so good. I honestly, sequel trilogy in Skywalker Saga tops all the other ones, in my personal opinion, because it was the only one that I went into with I didn't have preset expectations. I had seen how the complete saga did all the other ones, and I had a little preconceived notion of, we're going to do the Battle of Hoth, and I'm going to fly around in a snowspeeder, and there were certain things that I was hoping for that weren't there for the other trilogies and movies, but sequel trilogy was brand new. Now, granted, Force Awakens got its own Lego game, so I had done literally everything there was to do in The Force Awakens. And that game has a stacked character roster. Like, one Star Wars movie, like 200 characters or so. There's a lot of freaking people in that game. Anyway, I'm done with my Lego games rant. We can go back to the normal stream.
Okay, so I have to say, when it comes to this movie, I'm fully biased. I'm a huge fan of the Jedi stuff between Luke and Rey. That's probably my favorite stuff in this movie, my favorite parts, which is why I'm very upset. I got to talk about it. But the deleted scene with the village, if you have not seen it, please look it up.
It is very, very lovely. Very, very good.
It is, number one, it's peak Ryan humor.
Yes.
So basically, it also, like, so in the movie, Luke says, I'll give you 3 lessons to show you why the Jedi will end. Rey gets like 1. She gets the first lesson, which is about reaching out with the Force. The second lesson is question mark. The third lesson is leave. Like, so it's never really got a chance to do the 3 lessons thing. And in that deleted scene is the second lesson, which is that, you know, the Jedi can do good, but also to be mindful of the other effects of being a Jedi and going out and trying to do all of these heroics, but at what cost? And then she gets there and she realizes it was all a setup. And also, it really kind of, that scene, I think, leads into Luke reopening himself to the Force. Because Rey says something to him along the lines of, you know, I used to believe in Luke Skywalker and the Jedi, you know, what happened to you? Or something along those lines, like in the last part of the scene. And I'm like, that bites. And also, it would help remedy the people that, like, Rey doesn't ever show any emotion. Like, she's emotional in that scene. The fact that she goes and literally runs as fast as she can to save the caretakers who, up until this point in the movie, she's done nothing but terrorize.
Wait a second. Hold up. People say that Rey doesn't show emotion in this movie? I've never heard this criticism.
I mean, again, it's all the same. She's a Mary Sue, all powerful Mary Sue, but you can also do nothing right. You know, we've heard it 1,000 times. I'm not gonna touch on it too hard. For those who saw our YouTube short, you can check if you can pause and see some of the things I wrote inside of my trash can of Last Jedi opinions. I was proud of that bit. I was really proud of it.
It was good. It was really
good. I had an old tissue box that I was like, oh man, I'm gonna completely waste this, and I said, wait, I have an idea. So I ripped it apart and wrote Last Jedi opinions on there that were bad.
How do people feel about Reylo?
So,
I'm
originally, I didn't know how I felt. And then I was like, I watched this movie and I was like, okay. I see what they're doing. I like it. I'm open to more of it. And that was kind of me throughout the movie. And then the throne room scene happens and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of into this. And then after this movie, I was like, I am so broken beyond repair. Oh my God, they just want to be happy.
I agree. This is also the pipeline that I felt on. I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I want to see this strong, independent female character be wild, enchanted by the ways of a man. I wasn't into it. And then they stood in the lift together, and then I was really into it. Fun fact. Both Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver wanted to improvise a kiss in the lift scene. And Ryan said, no. He said, no. And I hate him for that. I hate him for what would have been the steamiest lift kiss you had ever seen in your life.
So I will say this. I was not the biggest Reylo fan. Well, I'll be the first to say that when it did happen in Rise of Skywalker, I was like, oh man, like literally she could be with anybody else. But rewatching this movie, I cannot deny the fact that this conversation is not safe for little ears. So if any little ears are listening, they got earphones for a bit. But I'll say when not to. But the sexual tension between these two people in this movie, dear God, just fuck already.
I cannot repeat your sentiments strongly enough.
The elevator
I actually
scene.
think I would argue that the Rise of Skywalker really dampened down that sexual tension, and then I really wish it had continued, because The Last Jedi, it's so tense. I am 100% here for the enemies to lovers trope. It's always been one of my favorites. I love that. I hate you. No, I don't hate you. I want to sleep with you. That beautiful.
There's something about it. I get it. I also just seeing the tension between Rey, like their first line of interaction, like is great because Rey literally tries to shoot him and he grabs his chest. He's like,
can you put something on, please? A shirt or something.
I want to talk about when they connect. Something about Adam Driver's Ben Swole.
Sorry, I didn't know if Dylan caught that, and
is incredible to the thumbnail, to be completely honest. That
I have no choice. They were all thinking it. They were right there.
Yeah. All right. Alternate thumbnail for this video. Go back and change it. Just get like a copy paste picture of like 3 Ben Swolos and just put our faces on Ben Swolo.
I did consider just slapping my like Supreme Leader makeup face
What possesses Mr. Dramatic ass bitch Kylo Ren to think, right, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to get my nips out for her, and she's going to love it. She is going to she's going to look at me, and she is going to love it with his trousers pulled up to here. Like,
Yeah.
Get
I love the scene where when the second time they force bond, and Rey's standing in the rain, and you can see the smile on her face where she's like, because it's the first time she's ever experienced rain.
Don't. That ruined me when I figured that out. The reason she's so happy. She's just
Yeah. The joy in her face and the smile is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The character acting is so subtle when it comes to Rey in certain scenes, and in other scenes it's so overt. Like it's amazing. But when they force bond, and she's immediately like, "You murderous snake! I know everything I need to know about you." And he's like,
You do?
You do.
"Oh, you do."
Everybody hold on to your seats.
In my hand on the desk. I was like, Adam Driver, take me through your thought process.
They had a lot of chemistry. Also, I would just like to point out, as much as people bash on Rey, I would also like to point out that this entire movie, all Kylo does is neg her. You're nothing, you're nobody, but not to me. Okay. Rude.
Listen, hearing that line for the first time, I was like, damn, that's harsh. Hearing it again today, knowing it was coming, I was still like, bro is fumbling the bag. So hard. All right, so
if you were just honest, Kylo, I'm sure you'd get a lot further.
No,
if
what
he
I
just
need to
rely on the fact that he looks like that, he might might be getting somewhere
All right,
a little
so
quicker, and we might have gotten a kiss in the lift scene. But no,
for those
he
who
is
are not
struggling so much.
For those who are not aware, I went to a speed dating session last Sunday.
Oh no, we're talking about this.
It was awful.
Oh God.
It was one of the most awkward experiences I've ever been to, because like just as you finally like get to connect with somebody, they blow the whistle and say next, and you move on to the next person. So I think what I should have done in that is I should have watched this movie before going in. So I could have had some Ben Solo liners. I should have just walked in, no shirt, pants hiked up to here, sat down, hey, how you doing? You know, you're nothing, but not to me. You know, pull out the Riz.
Speed dating, but you only use lines that Star Wars characters have used that somehow worked.
I don't like sand. Of course.
Yeah.
You don't look like much, kid, but she's got it where it counts. And move on.
Moving on to another ship that should have happened, and I'm distraught about it.
If you're going to say what I think you're going to say, I'm going to scream.
Finn and Poe, where did that go?
Right.
What happened?
Right. When Poe is, when Kylo's like taking his little TIE silencer and he's going on his little rampage and he blows up the ship and Poe gets thrown backwards. Why does Finn hold him like that? Like it's like a full like.
Yes.
Obviously,
speaking of people characters holding other characters, that's like for some reason romantic. During the fight scene in the throne room, where Rey kind of does this lean back move onto Kylo.
Oh, what? Where she flips over his back? She like rolls over him.
Yeah, where she slips onto his back. Her hand is like.
Oh, she grabs that thigh. She is right in there.
She's runs her hand like along his leg. And
I would like to point out in wrestling training, that's something you do to like support yourself and your fellow wrestler. So I'm assuming that's what she was doing. It was like support to push off him, but still.
No, I completely understand that, but also
very handsy.
Watching it with the added context of knowing what comes, and I think that's one of the things that with this movie knowing what comes after it it's not a detriment to the movie, I will say. But like watching it and like knowing what develops, like that Reylo is eventually what happens, you can say, okay, I definitely see more than enough foundation laid for this. Same with hyperspace tracking, something that's brought up in this movie.
Yes.
That, believe it or not, it's in Shadow of the Sith, and they explain it. So they explain hyperspace tracking in Shadow of the Sith in much more detail. And honestly, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, it's been around since the OT. Like, it's just less precise. Like, they talk about it. So they talk about it in Rogue One, obviously.
Yes.
Where they mention it by name. But they also meant, which didn't Rogue One come out a year before this movie, if I remember correctly? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they dropped it in Rogue One.
Because, I remember deliberately not going and seeing it because I really just wasn't interested because I was still on my sequel hype train and was waiting for The Last Jedi. So I just blanked Rogue One completely. Bad move, I might add. Bad move.
It's all good.
So good.
But,
we all make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of mistakes, I originally, because I wasn't really on the Reylo hype train, I read far too into Poe and Rey's like 5-second interaction on the Falcon. I was like, are they setting something up there? And I'm like, no. But at the same time, I would go for Oscar Isaac happily.
Yeah. That man is a blessing. Both Oscar Isaac and John Boyega played the characters as if they were actually in love with each other. So in my head, Finn Poe is canon.
Oh yeah.
Both of them were like aware, conscious, and deliberately putting like little looks and nudges and touches in because they knew and they wanted it. I was really into like Rey and Finn. I was 100% convinced he was going to tell her that he loved her, and that's what all of this stuff was about. And
I'm not gonna lie, that was never a ship that went through my mind.
No, that's fine. I guess it's interesting to see how people interpret these things. And I really wasn't expecting Rey Kylo because I didn't see it in The Force Awakens. So I was just like, oh well, yeah, he's handsome, I guess, but also she didn't.
No, maybe
no.
Do I like this? I don't want to like it. Maybe I do. Oh God, I like it. Oh no.
That was my exact mentality.
Dylan, every time you say that, I think of the time that, I think, Charlie, you were here when I first took my helmet off on stream, like the first time that any of y'all saw my face. And Dylan immediately does oh no, he's hot. And I had to stop myself from laughing. Because I was like, oh God, this is the first time the world has seen my face. I don't know about this yet. Because I was still very much so like
I saw your face.
Yeah, that was the first. I hadn't shown my face to you, to anybody. I just kind of popped up on stream and was wearing a helmet, and I would share my opinions about things.
I have to say, it was one of my like favorite dynamics of like the earlier show, where like I would tell people, I would tell people like, oh yeah, I do a podcast. Like, oh, what's your, I have a co-host, and I've never seen his face, and they're like in real life, I'm like, no, I have no idea what he looks like. There's a Mandalorian helmet. So like when I message him, I just see the Mandalorian helmet, and like in the show, I just see the helmet. So it's like it's one of those things where everyone's like, and you're okay with that? I'm like, yeah, he's a helmet.
He's a Mandalorian. It is just crazy.
This is the way, Mom.
I am so touched that I was there to see like your first internet face reveal. That was really sweet.
You were there for day one. That was that was something.
Oh my God, love you guys. So proud of you guys. Absolutely.
I have to say, you were part of the driving force because you said, because I think it was 20 subs that we said we would do it for, or was it 25?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was,
but Charlie was like, oh yeah, we got there, and I'm like, oh okay, we'll do the reveal next episode, and you said no, do it right now, and I was like, I'm not in control here.
And I'm just sitting here like, and then I did my best, like Shrek 3 Prince Charming, like whip my hair back.
You did. It was very anime, cherry blossom, sparkles.
Good. That was the effect I was going for.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, if I'm going to show my face, I need to be hot. Anyway.
No, it was really fun. That was a fun time.
I need to solidify myself as the sex appeal of the show or get off.
Understandable.
Dylan, no.
No, babe, no.
So
you're the beauty. I'm the bronze. And nobody and Gabby's the prince.
I'm okay with being the beauty. That means I get called pretty.
Does that make me like the visiting goblin? I'm absolutely fine with that.
Honestly, whatever you are, we love having you on the show.
No, it is
these are always the best episodes. The fact that up until last Tuesday we hadn't had you on since I took my helmet off. I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, God,
oh my gosh,
we really hadn't had Charlie back since helmet night. Like that.
Helmet date.
I swear, and at least once a week we'd be like, all right, so when's Charlie coming back? Like how are we gonna do this?
Oh, regularly, because we go back and forth in the DMs like at least 5 times a day. If it's not memes, we're talking about something. And I think it's about like 2 to 3 times a week that we're like, man, we need to have Charlie back on the show.
Oh, you guys.
I don't think we talked about this before, but we are definitely, your little fan club going over here. Yeah.
I cannot express the love and adoration that I have for the people that I've met through cosplay, through podcasting, through the Star Wars fandom. It's so lovely to have so many just amazing people in my life. I am extremely, extremely lucky. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. I think sometimes about, this group that we've got, be it, friends that we've had on the show, people who are regularly in the comments, Dylan, Gabby, myself, all of us. It's such a beautiful community that we've got. And I absolutely hold the largest amount of love and adoration for all of the people spreading positivity in our community. It's a beautiful thing because we've got a good group here. I mean, from the Discord to the Instagram, people leaving, comments on the YouTube channel. Admittedly, I don't check the comments on the YouTube channel. That's mostly Dylan. But like every once in a while.
I need more comments to reply to.
Huh?
Hey, Sidekick Red, if you're watching this, go to every previous YouTube video and comment one character in the video ain't beating Goku, and then go on about your day. That is your task. Everybody go comment on this video who is in fact not beating Goku.
Rose Tico.
Nah, Rose has a chance.
I won't talk about Rose Tico.
Rose solos.
Please do.
I do not dislike Rose Tico.
I don't either.
I do not dislike Rose Tico. I think Rose was well written. I do think my only criticism of Rose, because I do have one, and it is that she cockblocked Finn and Poe.
That she did.
That is my only criticism. Like, it hurts because I wanted so badly for them to. I'm sorry. There was that one. I don't know if anyone's seen the meme that was kind of subbed over of, Poe asking Leia, does Finn have any pilot in him? What? What do you mean? No, does Finn have any pilot in him? She's like, I don't know. I'm not going to finish it, but if you know where I'm going with that.
I do. Yes.
What did she say? No, not besides you?
No, it was like, no, I don't think he does. And, Poe's like, does he want some?
Speaking of Leia and Poe, how many times, you know, when Leia slaps him?
Yeah.
How many times do you think they shot that?
Was it all right? I think I remember you saying this. I want you to take a guess, and then I'll say what I think it is.
Yeah, have a guess how many times you think they shot that. How many takes they did for that one scene of being slapped?
How many times?
Oscar Isaac being slapped fully in the face by Carrie Fisher.
25.
Nope.
Wasn't it like 52?
Am I high or low?
You are low.
Wasn't it like 53 or something like that?
I do believe it was closer to about 88.
I was closer, so I win. Ah!
88.
Let me double check for posterity.
Not the impossible quiz coming back.
Oh, stop.
That would be a fun episode. That would be fun to do, like an impossible quiz episode, though.
That was it. I was way off. It's about actually. Callahan was closer. It's 40. It was 40 times, not 18. My bad. I'm misremembering. I have a lot of facts. But no, it was 40. Yeah.
I don't imagine
She
Carrie.
did not hold back. She thwacked him good.
Carrie does not seem like the kind of gal to pull her punches.
Oh, not in the slightest. Carrie
No.
Fisher would fight. I can imagine she would fight anyone.
Oh yeah.
Also,
I always.
This is a good moment to talk about Carrie Fisher and two things to do with Carrie. So number one was the Super Leia scene where she gets shot out into space.
I loved it. It was so magic to me. I don't know. I know, like, I remember hearing people in the cinema laughing, like genuinely, like laughing. I'm Coventry Cinemas, not. No. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, she died. Funny.
Yeah, I remember like quite visceral reactions and people being like annoyed. And I was enchanted. It was so powerful to me. Finally, we get to see her use her force abilities. Finally, she gets to be a bloody Skywalker. Like Luke holds the spotlight for the entirety of the films and she doesn't even get a look in. And now Ryan's like, this is the time. Now.
Push the button.
Yeah, advanced plot.
So
I need to get an advance the plot button. I say that enough that I need to just have a button on hand.
Hey, buddy, thanks for revving your truck engine out there. Perks of being in the South that they don't tell you about. But can you guys hear it?
No.
Oh wow, okay. It's really loud and obnoxious. But so the movie, obviously it was right after, I think it was like almost a year it came out after Carrie Fisher passed. So seeing that and seeing her get shot out into space, I was absolutely floored because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this movie just Game of Thrones Princess Leia. Like, they aren't playing. And this is from somebody who's never seen Game of Thrones. I just know dragons and titties and a lot of people die. So
you are correct. You are 100% correct there. Yes.
I was going to say, someone once summarized it to me as nerd porn. So
yeah. Death and boobies. That's Game of Thrones. That's all you need to know, really.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. We're moving on from that. Back to Princess Leia. So when she pulled herself back in, I was very confused because I was like, oh my God, how is she going to... And of course thinking, how is she going to be in the next movie? Because she survives, but she's not with us anymore in real life. Because those are the thoughts that come in your head when you're like, I don't know, what year was this movie? 2018, 17? I don't remember. I was like a teenager, so...
I was going to say, Yeah, it was
2017.
Yes, because Force Awakens was 2015. Yeah. Oh, they're back.
Or I had just turned 17. I don't remember.
I can't do the math to work out how old I was, but I think I was in my 20s. I think I just turned. Yeah. No, because 2017 was the year that I met Nick, so I was 23. Yeah, I was 23. God. I was a baby. No, I can't think about how I'm getting close to 30. Next. Next.
But yeah. So I have to say, so seeing Leia survive this movie now and getting to like watch Carrie's performance, I'm very glad that we did get to see it, because it being her last performance that she got to physically do, it's just, there's so much of Carrie in this movie that is just beautiful, and you get to see her. You see her wit, you see her humor, you can definitely tell where she put her personal spin on things.
You see Leia, like you see such a pure expression of Leia, and I think Ryan really gave Carrie the space and respect to just carry it. She probably basically directed herself. Like,
oh,
Yes, I believe it.
I don't think you really direct Carrie Fisher.
No.
But
I'm also extremely grateful that the little reunion between Luke and Leia at the end of the fight on Crate was preserved and kept in the movie, because I remember there being, from interviews, there was some debate about whether that would be kept in or not, and I think both Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher pushed for it.
That was beautiful.
Quite rightly so.
And seeing it nowadays, especially knowing the chemistry that Mark and Carrie had in real life, getting to see them like together and getting to see their, like, they were truly like brother and sister.
Oh yeah.
So getting to see them on screen and that again, I definitely shed a little tear. And also, I love how in that scene, Leia's the only one who knows that he's a projection.
Yeah.
She knows it's not really Luke, because even though he touches her, he like when he goes to put the dice in her hand and he like touches her hand, she like kind of looks at him and he kind of gives a like you know what's up. So that, I'll tell you what, seeing Luke show up in this movie and in that and on the Battle of Crate was just everything I wanted and more. Although I have to say, when I was first watching it and I saw him pull out the blue lightsaber, I was a teenager, so I was not like the smartest bulb in the box. So I see that and I'm like, man, that's a really big plot hole of them to pull out the lightsaber they just destroyed.
No, he's doing it to fuck with Kylo, and it's brilliant.
Surprise.
Speaking of underappreciated and undernoticed characters, I think Hux in this film is absolutely exceptional. The snide, excuse my language, shitty little relationship between him and Kylo that's played out in like these side eyes and these like passing glances. Call it sexual tension, call it, because I am a little bit of a Kylux. I do enjoy a touch of the, yeah, very good. Oh God, he's so good in this. He is so arrogant. I cannot pronounce Domhnall Gleeson. There we go.
Yeah, yes, Domhnall Gleeson, I think is his name.
Exceptional actor. Exceptional.
The way Snoke describes him, he says something about like, "Oh, I keep a rabid cur, just by my side because of the way he's so like conniving and so." Yeah, I really like that. Hux doesn't get enough recognition that he kind of deserves. And also, fun fact about Hux. So his father in universe was the one who gave the First Order the idea about the kidnapping and indoctrinating children to be First Order officers and soldiers and stuff. So that was his father that did that. He was a former Imperial officer. Because he wanted to go back. He wanted to meld the idea of conscripts and a clone army without having to do both. Also, tiny little content warning, but his father was also incredibly abusive towards him.
That makes a lot of sense.
So when he mentions his mother, when Poe mentions his mother, I don't think he knew. Like, I think it was just kind of a yo mama joke, but it's also it's also done in a way that's like, in his expressions, you can kind of see the pain of like a child who is reminiscing all of the terrible things that his father did to his mother and him. So it kind of strikes a little bit of a nerve with him. I might just be reading way too far into it, which is entirely possible.
No,
It's
I
Star
think
Wars. We can do that. We can read into Star Wars super heavy because there's lore to back it up.
that goes a really nice way into explaining why, particularly in The Force Awakens, why he behaves the way he does towards Kylo's violent outbursts. You see him like flinch and back off and get scared legitimately. And obviously, like, he's toughened up by the second film because he's gotten used to it because Kylo has tantrums. I feel like Mr. Wren's tantrums are at least a daily, if not twice daily occurrence. And
I'm sorry, calling him Mr. Wren is very strange.
Senior Kylo.
It does feel like you've called him into HR for like the fifth time.
Mr. Wren, can you please explain today's expense list of destroyed panels 1, 4, 18, and 6B?
Mr. Wren, do you know how much money in company property that you have recklessly destroyed? Now you put that away, Mr. Wren. This is a meeting. You put that thing away. It looks like a child made it. Don't make me call Matt the radar technician.
Why are you placing contact with strange Jedi girl as part of your expenses? This is inappropriate use of company funds. Mr. Vader will be hearing about this.
I was going to say, nobody's doing worse in HR than Mr. Vader. Mr. regularly chokes out his coworkers, Vader.
Okay, if we're talking worst bosses, then I think Vader definitely wins. That's a good point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay,
100%.
so
Oh.
I just thought of a really, really interesting question. So, I'll say dark side user. Which dark side user would you most versus least want to be a boss? Like in a corporate setting.
Right. That is an excellent question.
I would most want Dooku.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd either most want Dooku or the Grand Inquisitor because I think that's a very, very intelligent man. Very intelligent, very smart. Aggressive, but not violently aggressive.
I would most want Maul.
Maul
leaves his forces to die on Mandalore the second that shit goes bad.
Okay, yes.
Die well, Mandalorian. Goodbye.
But as long as you are serving his best interests, he's going to keep you around.
Until shit goes bad and he leaves you to die on Mandalore. I will die on this hill.
Hey, Boss Maul. I hear that Kenobi guy's hanging out on some desert planet. Can I get a raise? And I'll tell you which one.
I would like to select Dark Ray because I think it's really important that women are placed in CEO positions these days.
I'm down with that. I respect. My boss is a woman.
Who would I least like? I know he's not technically a dark side user, but probably like Moff Gideon. Like, that man is deeply troubled.
He does start out his introduction in The Mandalorian by what did he kill? Like 2 squads of his own men?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my bad. When you said Moff Gideon, it took me a second. I thought you were talking about General Pride from Rise of Skywalker. I pictured him for some reason.
No.
And I got really excited because I was like, oh yeah, he's in Shadow of the Sith as well. But then I was like, oh no, it's not Moff. That's not who you're talking about.
Why are you such a little simp for Shadow of the Sith?
It's a good
book!
Oh no, you've gotten him started. Don't do this. Don't do this. Not again.
We'll talk about it with Rise of Skywalker because I think that it goes best with that movie, I have to say.
Okay.
I called this man last night at midnight, and he talked about Shadow of the Sith at least twice. He's simping so hard for pen and paper.
Listen.
And paper.
What is, earmuff warning, but what does the Vine say? Is there anything better than pussy? Yes, a really good book.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm literally surrounded by shelves of books. So
that's fair.
My bookshelf is within arm's reach. Although I have to say, I do have a book within arm's reach. It's not Shadow of the Sith, but it is Brotherhood, which I arguably.
I was going to say, are the edges like a bit crusty? Like, just make sure you're just wiping the cover down.
I can't say much, as I do have, massive shelf next to me. Left side is all my D&D books. Right side is all my Star Wars tabletop books, which I would love to play with both of you at one point in time. I think that would be a blast.
Dang, all the Anakin and Padme pages are stuck together. I wonder why.
Oh no! To my left, I have a
down horrendous. Eli is down so hard he froze.
Oh my god! To my left, I have a nearly complete collection of Skullduggery Pleasant books. Behind me, I have a whole shelf of Red Dwarf. There's like an entire section of Star Wars reference material. If anybody needs a question answering about Star Wars, I can help.
I might need to go to you when I'm writing up the adventure for the Star Wars tabletop.
Please do. I have, honest to God, Eli, I have more books than I know what to do with. So
I need things to shamelessly steal from, because if you are a DM for a tabletop game, you know that is 90% of our job.
Go ahead. Steal away.
Yeah. I mean, I can't feel that bad. The Empire did it to themselves 3 times, so.
True. Going back to The Last Jedi, because that's originally what I'm joking.
This is the Death Star.
This
is Star Killer Grace.
I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you feel about, obviously it'll be easier to compare when we do Rise of Skywalker next week. How do you guys feel about the Rey is no one versus Rey as a Skywalker? Did you enjoy Ryan's kind of expression of Rey, not actually being from anywhere or from anyone, therefore it doesn't matter because anybody can be a Jedi and anybody can embody the Force and that? Or did you prefer when JJ was like, you know what, she's going to be a Skywalker?
So I'm glad you brought it up because I've been dying to talk about this for a minute. For those that follow me on TikTok, know that I have stated this in the past. I am a Rey Skywalker acceptor, but I am a Rey nobody fan.
Nice.
I accept that she's a Skywalker. I love that. I think it's great that the Skywalker legacy continues on after Ben's gone and Luke and Leia. So I like that. But I also, like you said, I love the aspect of anybody can be in Jedi. Anybody can use the Force.
Yes. It's
not just who you're related to. It's your connection. And I really liked that, when Ben says, you have no place in this story, I really liked that because, it's at that point in time, it was kind of true. From his perspective, this is a story of powerful legacy characters.
Yeah, and who is she?
Hey, sort of that elitism from it's the closest we got to see of that elitism explored. Because you hear about it, the mighty Skywalker blood and stuff like that, but you don't really get to see it. This was one of the few chances where you actually got to see Kylo Ren kind of be a bit of a snob.
Yeah.
Because, he would be. His parents are Leia Organa and Han Solo. His grandfather is Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. His grandmother is Padme.
His uncle is Luke Skywalker, who lots of people viewed as a god.
Yep.
And
I think his treatment of Rey throughout this film is such an aggressive attempt to break her down and make her fail. He's doing what Snoke wants, to break her down and destroy her. Obviously, at the end, there's the whole thing. But still, and I love that instead of breaking her down, that empowers her. Going to the mirror, going underground, following that voice, she realizes that she needs nobody but herself. And that's a message that I could get behind and relate to. This idea that I don't need to be anybody special. I don't need to be famous. I don't need to be royal. I can be amazing all by myself. And that was just so beautifully handled.
And it really speaks to the quality of you can choose your own destiny. It's one of those things where Star Wars deals a lot with destiny and the sort of the idea of like, you know, it's your destiny. You have to do this. Meanwhile, you can be a great person without coming from some great predestined family. I really enjoy that aspect. And watching the director's commentary and hearing Rian Johnson talk about Star Wars, he has an understanding of Star Wars that a lot of air quotes fans don't have. Because Star Wars is more than just a movie about space wizards for 12-year-olds. You know, George Lucas kind of famously said that, but even George Lucas knows it's more than just that. Star Wars is so much more than that, and there's such a deep storytelling that is about good and evil and, you know, temptation and being able to resist the temptation to do bad, and family, and there's so many beautiful things in Star Wars that are more than just the surface level.
Mm-hmm.
Eli, I know you're itching to say something. I can see it. What are your thoughts?
This entire time, but I wanted to let you speak.
I'm ready. I'm ready to hear it, man.
All right. So we were on the topic of Rey Skywalker versus Rey Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I will be completely honest. Back when Kylo was first like, "You're nobody," I was just like, I was in denial. I heard him say it, and I was like, but it's not the truth. It's not the truth. I was holding on to my Rey as a Skywalker theory with both hands clutched close to my heart, not letting him touch it. And I was like, "You're lying to her. I know you are. You're a sneaky, tricky man. I know it." And
you're not wrong. You congratulations. You correctly interpreted those scenes. Sensational.
I did.
You did, my friend.
And you know, I was picking up what he was laying down, distracted as I may have been at the time, but you know,
so distracted. That's wow.
But no, I'm a big fan of Rey being Skywalker. I think I've talked about it once before, but I did come up with an alternate universe concept at one point that starts all the way back at the end of Revenge of the Sith, where the fight on Mustafar goes a little different direction, and Anakin wins, lopping off one of Obi-Wan's arms and leaving him there to die. It followed, like, if you've played the Revenge of the Sith video game, I haven't, but I saw the end cinematic where if you win as Anakin goes back and kills Palpatine and assumes the role of Emperor.
Ooh.
In my little alternate universe that I made, Ahsoka goes, saves Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gets a sick robot arm. Anakin pronounces himself Emperor, but changes the title to Skywalker, so that Skywalker is kind of the new Emperor. Gets himself a sick set of like black armor and robes, goes on to lead Padme. The twins are born and then promptly kidnapped by Obi-Wan and Ahsoka to get them away from Anakin.
I like that. I really like that.
At one point, I'll eventually write it down when inspiration strikes me, but it hasn't for 2 years, so that's why it's just ideas.
I was still very much on the Rey as a Kenobi train. Like I was fully committed to that theory.
So was Daisy.
So when the whole you come from nowhere, I was very much like, no, I don't. Shut up! I don't want to hear it. It's not true.
It's lies.
I don't want to know.
Also, though, I really like what Ryan said about this because, you know, I've heard a lot of people say that when it comes to stories, you want to put your protagonist through hell and back to make them grow and make them develop and to have them go through experiences that are hard and traumatic. And, you know, Rey, who's been looking off and looking for a family the whole time and looking to find this sense of meaning, like oh, maybe I could be a Solo. Maybe I could, I'm Ben's long lost sister. Or, you got to think she's had these thoughts in her head.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Ryan said it best. What is the hardest thing for her to hear? That you're nobody. That you're not related to anybody. You're not a part of these great lineages of massively powerful and influential people.
Heart-wrenching.
It is.
He fully sets out to like break her. Doesn't succeed, I might add, but still absolutely sets out to break her.
Absolutely. Speaking of broken people, I really want to touch on this topic too. So, a lot of people in their critiques of this movie say that it ruined Luke Skywalker's character.
How? He's one of the most powerful Jedi in all of Star Wars, can arguably do whatever the heck he wants.
Absolutely.
Quite happy to let himself go and be with the Force, has absolutely completed his entire mission, done what he set out to do, redeemed Ben Solo, all of that good stuff. Just let him. Again, the same thing at the cinema. People were like shocked and upset and like booing.
No, I loved
crying.
I love the idea of creating. I love the idea of prophecy. I'm also a huge fan of like, classic literature where you have the tragedy of like, I'm thinking off the top of my head, Oedipus, where you have the vision of something terrible happening. So you do everything you can to prevent the vision, and then the vision ends up coming true because of the actions that you took to prevent said vision.
And then you sleep with your mom?
That's unrelated. That's unrelated. I'm talking about the vision aspect, not the mom fucking aspect. You calm down. You calm down right now.
That was a missed input. Missed input.
You calm down. And also, one of the things I really hope that the new canon explores, it's pretty well explored in Shadow of the Sith, but I'm telling you, listen, Shadow of the Sith is a sequel era dream book.
Dylan, do you like Shadow of the Sith? I had no idea.
It's alright.
It's alright. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll give it a pass then.
I mean, mid. It's kind of mid to be frank.
Mid.
Yeah. No. So listen. Okay, Luke in that book, and I see him like this in The Mandalorian, and I see him like this in Last Jedi, where he's a Jedi history nerd. Because what he does is he spends so much time focusing on, okay, what is a Jedi? He doesn't learn, because he knows the history of the Order, and he's like, to say that the Jedi, and he makes some good points, the idea of to say that if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. I also like the, deleted scene where Luke talks about how you can't just run in as a Jedi and try to solve every problem all on your own. A new drinking game for Dylan brings up Shadow of the Sith. Stop! Man, I don't bring it up so much. Yes. It's a good book, I promise. Listen, read the book and then tell me I'm wrong. Okay? And plus, we're talking about the sequels. It counts. It's connected. If I had read Brotherhood when we were doing the prequel talk, I would have talked about Brotherhood. A big old gulp of sequel respect juice.
That's what I've been drinking this whole time.
Yeah.
So, sequel respect juice.
Yeah, it's got an S and everything.
Sequel respect juice seems like it's spelled like schnapps.
No, Schweppes, it's lemonade. It's not. Oh. It's not a giant bottle of schnapps. I'm not a maniac.
No, unfortunately, now that's never mind. Final thoughts on Last Jedi.
It's a really good movie and doesn't deserve all the horrible, horrible hate that it gets. And I used to hate on it as well, and now I've learned my lesson because it's actually a really fantastic movie. Thank you.
It ruined my childhood. It ran over my dog. It shot Uncle Ben. It murdered the Waynes. It went back in time and killed my mother right in front of me. What other super villain things can I make this movie about? No, all jokes aside, I really do love this movie. It definitely got a lot of undue hate. I was also part of the undue haters. I'm not gonna lie, but after watching it today and opening my mind up and watching it, I like it. I think it's a good
more than
movie.
his mind. Sorry.
It was me, Barry. I was the last Jedi.
I was the one who made Luke Skywalker drink green alien titty milk in The Last Jedi. It was me, Luke.
Actually, I cannot believe we did not bring this up. The only scene I would cut from The Last Jedi is the titty milk scene. Mr. Ryan Johnson, please take your fetishes and get them out of Star Wars. Please, please. This is not like a Quentin Tarantino foot scenario. Like,
Oh, don't bring in the Tarantino foot shots. We don't need that.
Dylan, I know you really enjoy feet. I think you would really love
No!
yes.
I do not like
I
me.
really think you'd enjoy.
My voice is cracking over here. No, it is a joke.
Well, with those foot comments, we're going to be kicking it on over to news and rumors.
I cannot let that stand.
Speaking of things of the more sexual nature, starting us off, it's been known for a little while that in Harley Quinn season 3, there was supposed to be an oral scene between Batman and Catwoman, but DC said heroes don't do that. Well, recently, DJ Khaled, of all people, has responded saying, DJ Khaled says he doesn't perform oral sex, but expects it from his wife because he's the king. Quote, different rules for men. Dwayne Johnson has responded saying, ahem, clears throat. As a man, I take great pride in mastering all performances. This is probably a little TMI. Now, I will now quietly excuse myself from this fun thread. As such, this delightful thing has come about.
So, the hierarchy of power in the oral sex universe is about to change forever.
The hierarchy of power in the bedroom. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing that. That's point 1 for news and rumors.
I got one. I want to bring up.
You have one.
Yes, I sent it to you earlier. So
yes, I remember that.
So apparently, in the Hollywood Reporter first reported that Charlie Cox's Daredevil is seeking to reunite with Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones in the upcoming Echo series, leading to a much-awaited reunion between the two Defenders. And also, she was originally set to have a role in Daredevil Born Again, but due to scheduling conflicts, a different character will be taking her place, and that is John Bernthal's Punisher. Excuse me, I have to go change my underwear. Soiling my shorts thoroughly.
Dylan, you need to tell me these things before I put on my nice cloak.
I know. I am.
And this is at Amazing Fantasy on Instagram because I cite my sources. So if they're wrong, blame them.
I love Charlie Cox, and I love Daredevil, and I love Punisher, and I want to scream, but it is too late for me to be making so much noise. So please know that it's there in like spirit.
Elektra Wen.
Yeah, they've recast Elektra.
No. Elektra Wen, Charlie.
Oh, Elektra Wen. Oh, speaking of, the wig got delivered. So.
Yes. Oh, speaking of, you did a poll. What was it last week? Asking like, who should I cosplay like in the future? And I'm sorry, I was at work and I was bored, so I swiped up and replied Batman.
I saw that. I'm so sorry I did not get around to replying to them.
I was going to say, did you see mine?
Who did you suggest? I think one of yours was Elektra. I do have an Elektra costume.
The other one was Dana Barrett.
Dylan, listen, Dana Barrett is on my list as well. Don't worry, she is actually on my cosplay list. Dylan, this is the thing, right? I love you and everything. I hate Batman. Like, I hate Batman. Like I cannot watch. Nick said, let's watch Batman versus Superman. Absolutely fine. I forced myself to fall asleep halfway through because I hated it so much. I've
Nick
seen
said watch Batman versus Superman?
I've seen the old ones, I've seen the new ones. I went and saw the Robert Pattinson one at the cinema, and I still hate Batman.
I'm sorry.
He is a
Batman
white
versus
male
Superman
power
is not a good
fantasy.
movie.
How do you feel about the various Robins?
Adam West?
Robin is a gay icon. That's neither here nor there. But
Which
Batman
one?
is a white male power fantasy, and I will hear no argument against it.
I mean, you got me there.
Yeah, we
got
did.
there.
You missed the Civil War moment in the first Guest to Know, where it was least favorite hero, and Dylan's was Iron Man and mine was Batman, and I was like, "You hate Iron Man?" And he was like, "You hate Batman?" And I could practically hear the fucking Civil War theme play as it just cut to a title sequence. It was comedically timed perfectly.
Oh dear God. Sorry, didn't mean to go on that Batman side rant. Everybody,
You're all good.
You're good.
Next
I
point.
will not see Batman in the future. I will now say just Robin.
Yeah.
Specifically the Burt Ward Robin from like the 60s.
Yeah.
With the little pixie shorts. Yeah, no, you would slay that.
Not me adding. Never mind. Anyway, Kevin Feige has confirmed that the first Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania trailer is not coming out publicly for a while, which is very saddening to hear. But I understand. More news for things in the multiverse saga. A new rumor indicates that Shang-Chi's 10 rings and Ms. Marvel's bangle will be important relics to the multiverse saga, similar to how the Infinity Stones were vital to the Infinity Saga. And I'm excited about that.
Okay.
Bit of She-Hulk news. In episode 5, was last week episode 5 or 4?
Yeah, 5.
One moment. Not on the cape. Okay.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Dankeschön. The latest episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law has confirmed that DreamWorks animated Shrek films do exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because as they're walking into the court, Titania does say to She-Hulk, "Nice suit, Shrek." Also, to all my Titaniacs in the comments, love y'all. Good. Anyway,
I did absolutely lose my mind at Titania calling She-Hulk Shrek. What an insult. So this means, right, because Megan Thee Stallion is canon in the MCU, that also means WAP is, right? Brilliant.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
Identity theft is... Oh, Dylan, where did you go?
I am the basement Beskar.
Oh, he says he'll be right back. That's fine.
Oh. I was going to say, I just removed him, so...
You just removed him? Goodbye.
You steal my image, I kick you off. Anyway, Dylan had his power fantasy a couple episodes. It's time for mine. The Supreme Leader is here. Sony's Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web movie have been officially delayed to October 6, 2023 and February 16th, 2024.
I personally wasn't that fussed particularly. Like, I'm not a huge Kraven the Hunter fan, nor particularly am I a Madam Web fan. But
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what they do, I suppose.
I'm going to be honest, I only remember Kraven the Hunter from the handful of Ultimate Spider-Man episodes that he was in.
Yeah. I think a lot of people only remember him from like the animated series.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. I take that back. I have my Spider-Man omnibus, and he actually, the first episode, or the first comic that he was in where he hunts down Spider-Man, that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So nice. if they lean into that, that'll be cool. I have news about David Harbour, who has reportedly been cast to star in the video game adaptation, or in the Gran Turismo's film adaptation. I don't know what Gran Turismo is. I think it's a car game.
Oh, GTA?
I don't do racing games good.
Oh, GTA is not... GTA is more than a racing game. GTA is a brilliant game. They're doing a film adaptation of GTA with David Harbour in it. right. Literally, there's a map of Los Santos on the wall there. We're big
nice.
GTA fans in this house.
I have not played it. I feel like I should.
GTA 5 is good. Would highly recommend it. It's a good game.
All right.
Big open world.
Ooh, I like that. The sequel to Marvel's Shang-Chi is eyeing a release date of February 14th, 2025.
2025. God damn.
It's far away. It's far away. But I think it'll give them the time to do the film the justice that it deserves. Because the first 100%. One was beautiful.
I don't know what I think it came out during lockdown, I think. So Nick and I and Sydney, we didn't go and see it because it really wasn't safe.
You're right.
And we watched it at home, and I don't think any of us were expecting it to be as good as it was. I was really genuinely blown away by how beautiful a film it was, and well written as well, really well written.
It was wonderful, and they so good, and they didn't ship Shang, and anyway,
it was good. It was good.
I'm back in case anybody missed me. I can hear everything.
More Inside Out.
The Supreme Leader is dead.
I removed you from the stream once. I'll do it again.
I'll add myself back.
Eli has the banhammer, so be aware.
I do hold it right here.
No, we have dyad power. I will stick around.
I'm gonna be real honest. If you start showing up randomly just across my room with your shirt off, I'm gonna be a little weirded out. Inside Out 2 got announced.
Crazy, bro.
It did?
Yeah. Inside Out 2.
Frozen 3 is a thing, apparently.
I'm so excited. Let it consume.
I'm going to enjoy that.
Let's go. They're building an Arendelle at Disney Tokyo and Disney Paris, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. They're building a whole Frozen land. I'm so excited.
Disney Paris's Avengers Campus has got some stuff that I'm jealous of.
Oh, we are trying to plan a trip because I don't know if I will make it back to Florida in my lifetime, but Paris is a bit more achievable. So
you guys have a fucking dragon in the basement of your castle. I'm so jealous of that. You have a fucking dragon, and that's lit as fuck.
Also, the Space Mountain in Disneyland Paris is better.
Another thing that got announced, new Tron game. We're getting a Tron game.
I'm such a huge Tron fan. Such a huge...
That's going to be cool. I'm not a huge Tron fan.
I just want to ride a light cycle. That's all.
Those are cool.
They are very cool.
They're super cool.
Adam, I'll take Natasha to Frozen Land. That's absolutely fine. Her and me, and we'll have a brilliant time.
I'm just waiting for Tangled to get the respect that it deserves because they do it so dirty all the time.
Tron Legacy is underrated, Callahan. I agree 100%.
Oh,
100%.
We got news that apparently a sequel to Constantine, the movie from years ago, starring Keanu Reeves, is in development.
It's such a good film. So many people I know hate it and think it's absolutely terrible. It is one of my favorites.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Well, Keanu's coming back for the second one.
I'm such a simp for Keanu Reeves.
That's fair.
I will say this. On one hand, I have never seen the movie.
It's so good.
On the other hand, I'm a huge fan of Matt Ryan as John Constantine.
I will admit the Matt Ryan portrayal in the TV series is much more accurate to the comics because in the comics he's a Scouser. He's from Liverpool. He is not this dark-haired, broody American man who's just Keanu Reeves playing Neo again in another dark movie film. Because that's all it is. It's just Keanu Reeves playing Neo with Tilda Swinton as Gabriel. Wonderful. Great.
Wait.
The TV series is much more accurate than the actual comic books, but I do think the film
what you're saying is that it's basically a crossover between DC and Marvel because it's Constantine, but the ancient one from Doctor Strange
I would absolutely recommend. I would really, really recommend watching the film. It's good. It's a
I
good one.
saw it on a streaming service I have the other day, so that might be my next watch.
It's very cheesy, like mid 2000s, like superhero film. So it's lots of special effects and lots of emo music. Very good.
I love
Okay.
Ghost Rider.
Wait, does Linkin Park play over the end? That's how you know
Yes.
a mid.
Yes.
Wait, really?
I think so. I'm pretty sure there is at least one Linkin Park song in there. There has to be.
Oh wow, it was made in the mid 2000s. Ooh.
Fucking A, I'm watching it.
Well,
As
you
soon as
convinced
the thing
me.
is over, I'm going to watch it.
I'm not going to lie. At one point, for teasing the birthday takeover, I did consider doing a speech and then having at the end it cuts to like Linkin Park playing over it and then directed by Basement Basket. I was going to pull a Transformers, and at this point,
Please
I
do.
have to at some point. Who knows? Maybe that'll be our outro. Linkin Park will sue us for copyright infringement. But anyway,
I mean, what if it's a really bad parody of one of their songs? What if it's like us singing it?
Yeah, if it's like one of us off key.
You mean just me singing normally?
Weirdly enough, Dylan gets a lot of karaoke sessions from me in the pre-shows. It's a lot of Michael Bublé.
Get up there.
A lot of Michael Bublé.
You won't realize I'm there yet. So let me just be singing away.
Also, it's good to sing before you record. Warms your voice up.
Warms the vocal muscles. Thing is, I never realized Dylan's there, and then I'll be like belting in a solo, and I'll be like, hitting the note, and oh Jesus Christ, Dylan.
It'll be a one person wicked performance by me, and then Dylan just interrupts it.
Typically, yes.
He'll be like mid Bohemian Rhapsody, and then all of a sudden he'll be like, "Whoa!"
So I went to see the King, the Legend, Harry Styles a couple of months ago with my beautiful, beautiful girlfriend. Bless her heart.
That was like a fun time.
And obviously, because it's a big concert, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people there. And one of the songs they played before Harry came on stage was Bohemian Rhapsody. And I have never been in a space where that many people knew the words and that many people were singing. I think there are about 8,000 people singing both. I mean, all of it, everything.
Oh yeah, every single.
And it was the most like moving, almost spiritual experience. Like if Freddie could know that even after all this time, it was just it was very Harry. It was very good.
I believe he does.
So I've actually got an interesting concert story. So recently in my home area, like right down the road from me, Sir Elton John was performing.
What? I love Elton John.
So he was doing his farewell tour. Tickets were like $1,000 a piece at one point. So I did not, in fact, buy tickets. But what I did do, because I live right down the road, is I went and I camped outside and I listened to majority of the concert, or I'd say about an hour of the concert.
I remember your Snapchat videos from that, Dylan.
I was blown away. He played my favorite song, which is "I'm Still Standing." I got to hear that, so I was very happy. So,
don't get me started. Funnily enough, Harry Styles is playing Coventry for 2 nights next year in May. And it's at the arena, which is just up the road from me. So I'm so excited to walk and just sit outside and just listen.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I do. We had a couple country music artists come over the summer too. So unfortunately, the nights that they came, I was working. So I didn't go out and listen. We had like Miranda Lambert, Kenny Chesney, Sam Hunt.
Damn.
One Republic came. Carlos Santana. I'm trying to be careful, like who I say, but because I don't want to like completely dox my location. But like, hey, listen, don't come to my house. I will say that I'm if I know you're coming and we're cool, I'll bake you make you dinner or something. But if I don't know you're coming, I live in the American South, and you can infer what that means.
Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna just speed run the remaining news and rumors that I have.
Blitz it.
Go.
Ant-Man's Baskin-Robbins manager Dale, played by Greg Turkington, is confirmed to return for Quantumania.
Brilliant.
Baskin Robbins never forgets.
Eldon Henson has supposedly signed a deal to return as Foggy Nelson in Daredevil Born Again, and I'm very excited about that. Please let Matt and Foggy kiss.
No. I agree. Not Foggy.
We know what I'm here for. The Spectacular Spider-Man Season 1 will stream on Disney Plus on October 19th, which is also the same day that Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed will be finally releasing. Catch me on my Twitch channel playing that. That is going to be my first stream. You heard it here first. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, we're getting a fucking Iron Man game. Yeah. All new
Console, PC,
single player,
mobile.
third person action adventure title now in early development.
Ooh. It
And
better not
finally,
be a Lumion mobile game.
oh god, I hope it's not a mobile game. It won't be a mobile game. They made a big deal about this. It's not a mobile game.
Oh, okay. Fair.
And my final bit is that Charlie Cox actually auditioned for Han Solo in Solo, but because he spent the entire audition staring past the casting director rather than at them, he lost out on the opportunity. He realized that it was because he had been acting blind for over a year due to playing Matt Murdock in Daredevil.
That is some beautiful trivia. Oh my goodness.
I also want to mention that I saw a interview of Charlie Cox recently, and during the interview,
He still does
to the person, and he
Mhm.
moved his eyes like twice.
Yeah. It's kind of
And,
ingrained in them.
The person had the microphone, and he was just talking, looking at the person, but talking into the microphone, and once or twice he was like that. That was it. It was impressive.
I've had the pleasure of seeing him perform live on stage, and it was absolutely beautiful. I don't know how into your theatre you guys are, but Charlie Cox and Tom Hiddleston did a version of Harold Pinter's Betrayal a few years ago on Broadway, or the UK version of Broadway.
West End, yeah.
Huh?
West End.
I heard it happened.
Yeah, West End. There we go. I don't know why I get them mixed
up. What it was.
And I had the pleasure of getting to go and see it, and it was absolutely breathtaking. It was a beautiful piece of theatre. This was also, I saw Charlie Cox live before I'd ever seen an episode of Daredevil. And I did not care about Charlie Cox. All I cared about was Tom Hiddleston.
To be fair, that is Tom Hiddleston, who unfortunately is now married. I mean, fortunately for him, but
unfortunately for us.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Zawe Ashton. I do believe she probably had her baby at some point, so huge congratulations.
Also, one final thing, I know we talked about Tales of the Jedi, but Tales of the Jedi does in fact drop on October 26th.
This October 26th.
This October. And all of the episodes are dropping at once.
What?
Oh, what? Huh?
So that will be a very packed Disney Plus Digest Thursday, if we're going to do Disney Plus Digest that Thursday.
Oh my goodness.
And the Andor and the Disney. Oh no. Oh
yeah.
No.
Oh no.
Well, think, because this Thursday we've got Andor and She-Hulk to talk about.
Yeah, you guys have a good time with that.
We will. It's going to be fun.
We're going to have 3 episodes of Andor and She-Hulk. Oh, no. I didn't anticipate this when I wrote our calendar.
Oh, I tell a lie. I'm recording with Clone Army Radio on the 23rd, so I've not gotten out of it. Ignore me entirely.
I'm so happy to hear that you're back in Clone Army Radio.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
23rd. Oh, Friday. Oh, this Friday.
Yes.
Sorry, in my brain, my calendar was on October, So I'm like,
It's
wow.
fine. I still can't figure out what time it is for you guys what time it is for me. So whatever.
It's all good. Time zones are in fact confusing.
Speaking of time, it's about time for us to wrap up. So, final thoughts before we wrap things up for the evening. Charlie, Dylan.
I'll let y'all go, and I'll kind of finish.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much to the both of you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to see you guys next week to do probably, I think now at this point, my favourite of the sequel trilogy, Rise of Skywalker.
All right. I'll have to say, Last Jedi is probably my favorite of the sequels.
Yeah.
And Rise of Skywalker is probably going to be my least favorite, so it's going to be interesting. And
I just like the sequels.
I have to say, my
Happy
rewatch,
sequels.
my Rise of Skywalker rewatch will be the second time I've seen the movie.
Maybe you'll change your mind.
I've only ever seen it in theaters.
What?
So I just have never really had the desire to watch it a second time.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in I can watch something and say, hey, I'm not as big a fan of it, so I steer clear of it. So I'm very excited for the opportunity. My opinions on Last Jedi have changed quite a bit, so I'm very excited to see how I feel and turn about Rise of Skywalker. So that being said, Sidekick Red, Goku Solos, let's go.
I will say, Dylan, off that point, Callahan used to not be a big fan of Solo, and then when we did our Solo episode, and he rewatched it beforehand while texting me throughout the movie, I think I've turned him around. That, and I bought him a Sabacc deck, and Sabacc appears in that show, and Sabacc is a really good game.
Shout out to Callahan for being a huge sequel supporter this whole episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what an absolute legend. Thank you so much.
Callahan's my fucking dude. Love this man with all my heart. He's my guy. He's my dude. Love him.
For sure.
Callahan and I have been friends for a good bit now. So, yeah. Anyway, I love my friends. I love you guys. I love our community. Sorry, I'm doing the thing where I get really sappy at the end of the episode again. Yeah, I love y'all. I love this community. I love my friends. I love everybody that we've gotten together. Join the Discord so we can talk more often. If not, Instagram DMs are always open.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Under the Helmet Podcast.
There we go.
Join that Discord. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day or night. And may the Force be with you always. And
that being said, we will see you guys next time that we go Under the Helmet.